Hello, everybody, and welcome on this webinar about Cisco Cyber Vision in action. My name is Robert Lesser. I work for NIL. I have a Cisco certification as an instructor, and I also have CCIE for enterprise infrastructure. I mainly work with routing, switching, so enterprise technologies, as well as service provider technologies and automation in last couple of years. For those unfamiliar with us, this event is brought to you by NIL. We have a headquarters in Slovenia. We specialize in advanced IT infrastructure and cybersecurity solutions, and we serve a wide range of customers from businesses, industries, state institutions, public organizations, telecoms. As it ties to the customer story, we will talk about one customer story during this webinar. I would like also highlight that NIL is leading Cisco training provider. So we are delivering Cisco courses, sometimes also specialized, customized courses for our customers globally. Since 2019, NIL has become part of Conscia group. Conscia is a leading provider of cybersecurity and networking solutions, specializing in mission-critical IT infrastructure for large European organizations. We have a strong presence across Northern and Western Europe, and also serve customers worldwide. So I believe we have many participants from all Conscia's markets joining this webinar. So once again, welcome and thank you for being here. By saying this, we will start with first agenda. So I have 3 topics I will talk about today. And after I finish with this, we will start with a Q&A session where you will have opportunity to ask questions. But even if you have a question during my presentation, you can put it in the Q&A panel. So starting with the OT security, then I will introduce you to Cisco Cyber Vision on a high level. And at the end, I will talk about one example, so one practical application of using Cisco Cyber Vision. Okay, before I start with OT security, I need to make clear differentiation between IT versus OT, where so many times we say IT is informational technology. We work with information. We make sure that information is securely received, is sent and received from a sender to receiver. Where on the other side, in the OT environment, we are working with equipment which is touching physical environment. So we talk about different sensors, motors, robotic arms, actuators, and so on. So OT really is found in the industries where you have these devices connected in, let's say, OT network. So IT industry is treating informational databases, emails, sending files across internet, but in the OT we are dealing with making a product, getting some knowledge about infrastructure through these sensors that I talk about. Now, very important part that I will start with is NIS. So this is a directive from European Union, legislative act, which aims to let's say, secure OT environment on the same or better level as IT. So this Network and Information Security 2, NIS 2 directive makes some mandates and also makes organization to follow certain standards to secure their operational network in order to respond on the, let's say, similar way, and then to secure their network on best possible way. Because of this NIS 2 directive, because of this regulation that came into power October this year, many companies are looking into how to make their OT environment more secure. And I will talk about this in the next couple of slides, but just a couple of moments here. Now, so in the past, OT environment was made with a pure, let's say, believe that they need to do some product to make a certain product fast and to make the product like 24/7. They didn't think about how to secure this environment. So security was really not a thing because many OT environments were air-gapped at that point. In the last couple of years, initiative come into plan where IT and OT environment are converging, so they are connecting. And in order not to have security or to have some gaps in the security in this environment, we need to talk about this. We need to take, let's say, best practices from IT security and then also implement them into the OT security. There are a couple of reasons why we need to talk about this. So when we converge IT and OT, of course, attack surface will increase. What does it mean? When these two environments connects, I already talked about this, that OT environment was not planned, was not designed to be secured in the first place. So the first thought was to have operation running 24/7. Then another thing that is lacking is in visibility and the context. So we don't have very good visibility what is in this OT environment, because many times you have devices, sensors, motors, cameras, and so on, that are also connected to the LAN of the OT. And many times businesses don't have clear understanding what are these devices, so what assets they have, and also they don't have clear view into the traffic being sent between these devices. Legacy estate. So as I told you, you may find many systems that are placed in the OT environment many decades ago, and nobody is really taking care of patching systems and making them fit for today. Lack of collaboration. When we work with the bigger companies, we see that IT and OT teams, like IT team, really doesn't talk with the OT team because they have a different infrastructure. Many times they even have different data centers, and there is a really big lack of communication between these teams. And only when they start to communicate, so many times with implementation of products like Cyber Vision, they start to communicate, they start to understand that their OT and IT needs to now be brought on the same security level. And then not to mention that there are increased connections into the OT environment. Many times customers or businesses even don't know about these connections coming from outside. So not even from the IT environment, but rather from the outside. Okay, all this will be addressed in the next couple of slides. So when we look into typical issue found in the industrial network, I will not read through all this text, but you can get an idea what is normal situation in those environments, because these environments were set at one point and then nobody really work on those and patch those environments. So many times you will have secure patches not installed, or if firmware is updated because maybe vendor asks this, maybe this firmware is not copied with a signature to be verified. So it is very easy for attackers to inject certain code, let's say rootkit, into the firmware for attacker to gain access for a certain device. Then all kinds of old systems like Windows XP or applications, SMB version 1 you can find, where you really lack of security, and we also have a lot of knowledge about how these applications and protocols are not secure. One of the threats that we found recently in the last couple of years is with the IPv6 traffic, where industrial network, they normally say, we have enough of our IPv4 addresses, so we don't take care about IPv6. But the problem is those new devices they are attaching, or the software they are attaching to their industrial network become dual stack. So they become by default enabled for IPv4 and IPv6. So even though they do not use IPv6 for communication, these devices start communicating with IPv6, and as you know, with the IPv6 link local address, which is dynamically assigned, these devices may start their communication over IPv6. So this is quick view into what are all kinds of problems. And of course, when we start working in the industrial environment, we need to treat this one by one and try to find a solution for those. Okay, now who owns such a problem? You will see if we start with the IT or NetSec team, they normally are responsible for their IT environment. So they don't really take care about OT environment. So they are managing and securing their IT environment, and they have a lot of knowledge about how to secure a network, but simply they do not talk with the OT team. On the other side, InfoSec, SecOps teams, yes, they are good in threat management, global cybersecurity objective, but again, they normally are doing this only across IT environment, but not OT. Then when it comes to the OT, so engineering team in the OT, they are only concerned about uptime, profitability. So these are objectives, and they really see any kind of extra solution, protocol, or solution, let's say, security solution as a waste of money, because they are looking other objectives. So really, when you see this, who is responsible for what, you can see that OT team or engineering team, they simply don't have such a knowledge as IT or NetSec team about how to secure a network. Now, when we look on average industrial environment, so their paradigm is about securing is, of course, lack of experience, as I already told you before. Then also big one is denial. So they simply say, yeah, this happened to some Iranian companies, to some Ukrainian power grid, to some other bigger banks, but it will not happen to us. And so this is kind of, they play on the denial card. Then the next thing is who owns the problem. I just explained you this, that mostly OT teams, they are not thinking about this, and many times they are not competent about this. Economics, I also mentioned this, is a big one. Shadow IT, so OT engineers who are working in their industrial environment, they may not be aware of some devices, rogue devices, or maybe some devices maybe his colleagues bring into the network, connect, or maybe some protocols that they didn't authorize but being used for accessing this OT environment. So simply they don't know where to start, so they are kind of in the circle, and that's why EU regulation come into place in I think 2016 with NIS 1, and later NIS 2 is now come into law in October this year, is mandating EU countries where UK and Norway is also included, and they set a framework for cybersecurity readiness. So they are attacking three perspectives, as you can see here: organizational, technical, operational. From organizational, risk analysis, management, policies, crisis management. So like what you will do when ransomware attack is happening in your environment. Do you have a clear understanding or procedures what to do in such an example? Then from the technical perspective, some of these technical solutions are already in place, like for cryptography, multi-factor authentication, for remote access, but there is still a lack in asset management and access control. And as well, operational angle, we need to incorporate cybersecurity best practices that are already used in the IT, so needs to be incorporated into OT. Training of the employees, vulnerability management, as well as supply chain security. So how secure is my supply chain? So here we need to talk about hardware as well as software supply chain. Okay, to go into deeper into NIS, so NIS from 2016 already put into account a couple of sectors: energy, transport, and banking, as you see here. But with the NIS 2, they include 10 new, let's say, organizations or 10 new sectors. So let me give you a perspective. If from the NIS 1, 15,000 organizations were affected, with this NIS 2, 350,000 organizations are affected. So if not yet, definitely customers from industrial branches will start including more security awareness into their practice. And now, as you can see, they are highlighted with new tech. So these are all new industries that are added in the scope of NIS 2. Now, what would happen if you do not follow, or what would happen if organization does not follow NIS 2? There are also some mandates and penalties. So first of all, you need to make your reporting suitable. So you need to report about incident in a short period of time, so 24 hours, follow-up report with some more details in 74 hours, and final report with all details within 1 month. So again, think about this. If your personnel in the OT environment is not fit to this, so definitely this is something you need to work on, maybe to ask partners to see what tools can be used here, so how to educate workforce and so on. Also, penalties comes for management. So these are organization penalties. management will be liable. If you are a national operator, let's say you get certificates for a certain operation, those certificates could be suspended to you if you do not follow certain NIS2 mandates. And eventually, monitoring officer can be assigned to your organization. As well as financial penalties come into place, like for essential entities. So these are from the 3 sectors that were already included in the NIS1, up to 10 million penalty or 2% annual earning. And then important entities, those are from 10 additional sectors from the NIS2, a little bit lower values, but still pretty much high values if you do not follow certain cybersecurity standards, and if you don't report, if you don't respond, and so on. So quite big financial penalties. Now, there is not a single bullet or single product like a silver bullet solution to solve all the, let's say, mandates or all the requirements from the NIS2. But you can find many of solutions from a Cisco portfolio. I will only mention a couple of them today and tell a little bit more about Cyber Vision product from Cisco. So definitely this is some, let's say, not one-step solution. This is more of a journey for industries as well. Okay, when talking about merging OT and IT, we many times come to this purview model, which was defined to provide a framework on how industrial systems, so we talk about end or field devices, control devices, and so on, how these devices connect to the IT environment. So as you can see, OT are those first 4 levels, starting from 0 to 3, where in the level 0, you will find field devices and control devices like sensors, actuators, motors, robots, and so on. So this is level 0. On the level 1, there is already some controllers that are included to control, let's say, one cell or one zone of these field devices. So this is level 1. You may also find HMI, so human machine interface, or some controllers for the zones. In the level 2, this include also controllers for the whole, let's say, industrial operation, where you will get a status, you will control a network application, and yeah, you will have some supervisory control here, historian, and so on. But all these zones, as you can see, starting from the zone 1, 2 to 3, you also have switches that connect all these field elements and control elements together. So we can also call them as a access distribution core, but these are switches that are playing a role of connecting industrial environment. When it comes to connecting this industrial environment to the enterprise, there is industrial DMZ, so industrial demilitarized zone, where we could have simple firewall, which allows only certain communication to go through. Or what Cisco recommend is that there shouldn't be any traffic traversing from IT to OT, but there should be some proxy set in this zone. So to really have a proxy that controls communication in and out of OT. IT standard setup. So these are purview levels 4 and 5. I will not go here in details. So definitely we also have some access distribution core levels here. And the idea of the IT is then further to connect IT network to the internet. And as you can see, OT should only be connected to internet via this DMZ zone and via IT. So this is, let's say, framework of connecting industrial environment to the IT. Of course, initially, many years ago, OT was completely air-gapped. No such thing as connecting to the internet. Maybe even IP wasn't used at that time. But today, when IP was used in those environments, and with the initiative to connect, we need to have some framework of how connections will work. Okay, to secure industrial network, we put this into basically four-step journey. We don't, let's say, expect all industries to go through all of these steps. But if we start with the first step, I believe this is already done with majority of the industries who connect their OT environment to the IT with a proper DMZ zone, with defining boundaries between IT versus OT. Although we can also see some customers, some industries who are connecting both printers and some cameras and some other field elements on the same LAN segment. So definitely this is not good. So we need to have some distinction, some boundary, as I explained you before. So Cisco secure firewalls are good products to use here. Next step in this journey is gaining visibility. So learn about the devices you have in the OT operation and learn about processes they have between each other. So Cisco Cyber Vision, I will talk about this in the next couple of slides, provides us this visibility to identify like assets, to identify type of communication, also to identify anomalies in that, and also to see or to find out vulnerabilities about devices connected to the environment. I will go and explain architecture in other slides, but here we talk about sensor and center who collects this information. Next step is, so the step 3 is segmentation, dynamic segmentation. So the best way for this is to include ICE, Identity Service Engine, who will enforce for every device connected to the network to be put on the certain zone or a certain virtual network. So segmentation, with segmentation, we also protect our critical assets and respond if some ROC device is connected to the network. And then step 4, many will not go to this part, but in the step 4, we have investigate threat and orchestrate a response, which is a job for SOC teams in many IT organizations. But also OT can start using these solutions. So it could be a separate SOC team for OT or the same SOC team. For this, Cisco uses Cisco XDR as a tool for investigating incidents and then also responding to the incidents. So this is a 4-step journey. So starting from defining boundaries, gaining visibility, segmenting, and then the last one is incident response, investigation, and so on. Now, visibility is, of course, important because if you cannot see what is happening, what is connected, you can't really protect. So critical part is to identify assets, their communication, and then possibly also to troubleshoot, to patch your assets with the latest security patches, and with all of these improve network reliability and performance. So this is kind of a critical need for visibility in industrial network. Okay, with this, I'm moving to the next topic where I will quickly highlight you Cyber Vision, Cisco Cyber Vision product. So this is a platform that helps us to gain visibility in the industrial environments. We have similar products in the IT that are providing us this visibility. So definitely from this visibility, we mean building asset inventory, a report if there is any change in the assets, what is communication pattern. So we can establish a baseline through this cyber vision, and then only look into anomalies when a change happens on the established baseline. Devices posture or security posture can be evaluated with device vulnerability and risk scoring. And operational insights is also critical here, because with the cyber vision, I can gain more knowledge about the processes, what traffic, how much traffic between devices, and who talks with whom, and so on. Let's say one of the basic parts of cyber vision is sensor. I will talk about this in the next slide, but here just a quick look into this. So sensor is actually capturing traffic and is generating traffic flows, so kind of net flow. We call this passive listening to the traffic. On the other side, sensor can also do active discoveries. We do not advise to use these active discoveries a lot, but it could do active discovery on a certain industrial devices through protocols like Modbus, S7, and so on, to gain more knowledge about devices. But again, this is not a primary role. The primary role is passively listening to the traffic and then generating reports. Sensor can also, so some sensors are capable of doing deep packet inspection, looking into the content of the packet, and doing intrusion detection services, where if a certain type of the traffic matches a signature in the snort rule, such IDS will fire an alarm and will inform Cyber Vision center about this happening. All this data, so once again, to repeat, data from a passive listening, so net flow, data from IDS function, like alarm, all this is collected on the Cyber Vision center, where it is analyzed, stored, visualized, and so on. This could add between 3 and 5% of the extra traffic. So if you listen to the whole traffic, the result would be that some additional traffic is generated because of all these activities sensor does. Now, we have 3, let's say, flavors of the sensors. So there can be a network sensor. This is sensor application that runs on the routers and switches. So if a router and switch supports this functionality, you can enable sensor on this platform, and then just specify what interface or what port sensor should listen into. And then whatever traffic goes into this port, you define whether in both directions or only in one direction. This is listened by the sensor, and then sensor will generate a net flow packets. Some platforms also support IDS function. I also talk about this. And so to compare traffic along with snort rules. But then in some, so those routers and switches are in the OT environment. Cyber Vision Center is normally in the data center in the IT environment. So we are not sending all information to the Cyber Vision Center, but just the information that I talk about. If you have in some part of your network devices that do not support this functionality, sensor or IDS, there is a hardware sensor available. It is called Industrial Compute, so Cisco Industrial Compute 3000 or IC3K, who has 4 ports, and you can transfer span traffic to one of these ports. So if your switch doesn't support sensors, you can configure a span, so switch port analyzing port on this device, and then direct traffic to this industrial compute. The best practice is to simply connect this industrial compute directly to the switch. But theoretically, yes, you can also use remote span or ER span, but it is not advisable, because then you need to, let's say, build up your switching environment a little bit more than it is built for OT operation only. And the third flavor of sensor is the sensor running on the Cyber Vision Center. I think you will see this more on the next slide. Okay, I will answer to questions in the Q&A session. Good. Yeah, so these are different deployments of the sensor. So I already talked about this network sensor. This is embedded on the Cisco devices. Simplest deployment, but some licenses are required for IDS deployment. Hardware sensor, I talk about this, so capturing the traffic on any switch. So remember, between switch and sensor, in this case, hardware sensor, like all traffic is sent. So that's why span port is used in this example. And it is good to be really on a single hop span, not more than that. The third implementation on center sensor, this is mostly used for smaller, very small implementation, maybe for some demo, for education purposes, where you configure your switch. As you can see on the far right side, switch is configured with a span, and all traffic is now sent to the Cyber Vision Center. A couple of words about Cyber Vision Center. I already talked about that this Cyber Vision Center is installed in the data center of IT, in the IT data center as one of the service. It comes as a hardware form factor. It comes as a software you can run on your virtualized environment, and you can also have Cyber Vision Center in cloud markets available. But the most popular is hardware or virtualized platform, so Cyber Vision Center platform. Of course, as you can see now, between the sensors that are in the OT environment and the Cyber Vision Center above, there is normally a firewall, and some protocols and ports needs to be opened for center to communicate to the center, to configure a sensor, and then also for a sensor to send a traffic back. Okay. Positioning of the sensor. So when we start working with the industrial environment, we first need to think where to place a sensor. So if you place sensor more on the top, let's say on the Purdue level 3, this sensor will collect north-south traffic. So north-south traffic you will not collect a traffic that is happening in one of those smaller cells. So between some sensor and some pump. And then on the other side, if you put a sensor more to the, let's say, to the level 1 or 2 of the Purdue level, you will also see this east-west traffic. So rule of thumb is that all traffic should go at least through one sensor so that you capture this traffic. Apart from that, simply Cisco doesn't charge you based on the number of the sensors, but rather based on the devices these sensors capture in your network. Okay, this is a quick understanding of the cyber vision. So with the cyber vision, you will gain visibility in the network. You will also learn about the security posture of your devices, security risks of the devices, and so on. And then you can work on that. In the last topic, as let's say one of the practical example, we work on this last year and this year is California Department of Transportation, or DOT, also called Caltrans. They are operating in the whole California. They have 12 districts, and every of these districts they have a district, let's say, main office. So 12 of them, and then in the capital, Sacramento, so capital of California, they have a headquarters where all these districts are sending part of the information. I didn't mention before when I was explaining about two-level architecture where you have sensors and then you have cyber vision center. There is also possibility for the third level of this architecture where you have a global cyber vision center. And in this particular case, global cyber vision center was installed in the headquarters. So they are responsible for state roads, like for freeways, expressways, and also for some public transportation. So their biggest concern is that they do not have very good visibility in their OT environment. I will show you this in a moment. But these devices from their OT environment are sending certain streams. So it could be a video stream that is sent to this control room, state of the freeways and highways. Guys, I'm sorry, but I need to generate this picture with the AI, but it is very similar from their operation. I couldn't put the picture from their operation because they wouldn't allow me to do that, but you kind of can imagine that they have these situation rooms in every district where they are following what is happening on the road, what conditions are, and so on. All this is controlled from the OT data center, where the main part of this is transportation controller 2070, so they simply call it 2070. This is let's say specialized server that is also highly modular, and with this server you can control many different field elements. As you can see, the left bottom picture is a real picture presenting that these controllers can also be controlled via management port. So you have Ethernet here, but on the other side, there are many serial connections going out for particular field elements as their road signals and so on. So looking into their equipment, so they have all kinds of count stations, cameras, ramp meterings, and so on. And all these devices are presenting, let's say, a field element in their environment. The most critical are traffic controller cabinets. Now, as you can see on the bottom left part, where the traffic controller is there, and it normally controls one intersection with the road signals and all this. And many times, you know, these cabinets may be under attack, maybe because of the vandalism, but sometimes rogue devices could be connected just to get access to the internet or to make harm to Caltrans. So without cyber vision, they couldn't know about what is happening in their network. Many times, if the vandalism is there, like somebody pull wire from the trench or do some damage on the cabinet, yes, they can see this immediately. But if a new device or if a new protocol is added to their network, they had complete blindness. And with the cyber vision, they get much more visibility. And I remember many times when engineers are quite, let's say, optimistic that they know about their network, they found protocols or they found devices that they didn't know existed there, were put there many years ago and they're forgotten, or maybe simply some attackers put them here and were using their network to do attacks on some other networks. Okay, with this, I will conclude. So in a summary, NIS2 directive addresses OT security. So this is EU initiative, Norway, UK also involved in this. Cyber Vision, Cisco Cyber Vision product enhance OT security with visibility, threat detection, and then, of course, integration of OT and IT environment. As I was explaining to you, with Cyber Vision, you could implement dynamic segmentation, enhance this threat detection and response, asset management, anomaly detection, and also comply on the regulatory demands. Thank you guys for attending this session. Session was recorded, so you will get recording with presentation. Both will be sent to you. If any further questions, please contact me. You will see my email address, or you can reach your local Conscia office account manager to book a meeting to get more details about OT security. Thank you very much for your attendance, and I hope to see you on some future events.